How's she going, eh? Got my transmission parts on Friday, so I'll be digging into that hard here. I hope everyone had fun at the event. I watched the whole thing on everybody's live. I like to think my car would have held its own pretty good there, but I never seen the clocks on, so I'm unsure how it would have done. Be nice if people post what they ran. I said what mine ran the first time I had it out on its only run down the track slipping, so it is what it is. But it's not Street Outlaws grudge racing here. I don't think it's the end of the world to post 2 times. But anyhow, yeah, I found a Lark for my buddy, and it was for sale for a month. It was about 4 hours away from here. Same kind of one as mine. It was about the same shape, and it was only 400 bucks. So my buddy called the old hose bag that owned it, and he said you would come and get it for sure next Saturday. So he notices today the ad's off, and he calls her and she says, oh, some guy called and he said he was going to come get it Saturday. Well, he already told her that before then, so it's real nice the loyalty some of these people have. But yeah, I'm going to keep my eye out for one for him, and he's kind of a Dodge guy, and he's got a lot of small block Mopar stuff, so he's going to put together a hot 360 and put it in there, and it with the right gears, I'm sure he'll run even with me, if not better. But anyhow, I'll show you what we got going on here. I got a lot of stuff, and not quite enough room anymore, so I'm gonna unload some shit that I don't need. And one of them being this A-Body 71 Duster door. It's a really good solid door. It's just surface rust. It's straight. Doesn't have any rot. So if you're looking for one in the Edmonton area, there you go. I'm also gonna sell this 354 semi-Hemi. For parts or full rebuild. It would make a cool motor for somebody. It's a powerful sucker for their time, and it's a brilliant looking motor. It's beautiful. So that's for sale too. And I got a working 400 Turbo 400 Buick Olds Pontiac Cadillac bell housing. That's for sale too. But what we got going on here is this is the motor of the Lark. And I didn't think much of it when I pulled it. I ran the numbers. It's the same that most 350s are, 3970010 block. And yeah, so that was just the casting number. When I really looked into the stamp number, I'll show you what I found. Alright, as most of you know, this number don't mean a whole hell of a lot. 3970010. It's probably the most common 350 block. Most I've had this. That doesn't mean fuck all. But up here on the deck, there you go. There's a stamp number there on the deck, and that tells you month, day, year it was made, and it tells you what it was out of and what plant it came from. So if you're interested, you can check into all that. This block is a 1973 Z28 L82 block, and it came with factory 9-to-1 compression, forged crank, the forged pink rods that everyone used to like, and forged aluminum pistons. So the bottom end was, pretty stout, and whoever put this in that stud obviously knew a thing or two. On these heads, I'm not really familiar with these heads. They're 041 heads, so they're every bit as good as a camel hump head. I think they're made from 69 and 70. They got accessory holes on them too. And they're a small chamber. I think they're 64, where this block, this L82, would have had 76 cc chambers. So that puts this motor at 10 1/4 to 1 compression. So my plan is for it, I'm going to do refresh rings, bearings, gaskets, timing chain, oil pump, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully the seats are good in the heads and the guides are good in the heads. And I'll just use some lapping compound and lap all the valves and put in a 15 thousandths head gasket. You know, your basic kind of early 70s, late 60s kind of hot rod rebuild. I'm going to put it in Isky cam because they're the only ones that make a solid lifter cam with lift that's not outrageous, that I won't pull the rocker studs out of the heads, because I think these are push-in studs and I'm not going to pin them or anything. But it'll be a decent little motor, and it'll be a good recipe for anyone building a small block Chev. And I guarantee it'll put out a horsepower per cubic inch or more. And I'm going to put it in my Le Mans, because that thing has a full-blown drag motor in it. And it's probably cost more to build than I'd sell the whole car for. So I will put this in, and whoever buys it will have themselves a stout little fresh motor that they'll be more than happy with. And it should put that car, it's got 373 gears, it should put it in the 13s all day. And there's no shame in that for, you know, a few $100 motor. So anyhow, that's my plan. So you're going to see some transmission stuff coming up here on Turbo 350s. It's going to be a learning process. I've dicked around with them a bit, but I've never really dug into one that deep. So I'll probably need a few tips in the comments. If you know what you're doing, please give me some pointers. And then I want to kind of build a 360 with my buddy, kind of work together on it, some of his tricks and some of my tricks. It'll be another low buck motor, but it should put out pretty good. It's got Mopar Performance aluminum Magnum style heads, and it'll have a Howard's roller cam and all that kind of stuff in it, so it should be like a 400 horse small block. And we're just going to keep our ear to the ground for an Aspen or Valeri with a nice body. We don't care about powertrain. Or an A body with a nice body, or a Studebaker. And the problem was with A bodies now, he's just going to use it for a drag car, so he's going to have it all chopped up and everything. And they don't give those cars away, even Aspens and Valeries. They're not cheap anymore. I don't think there's a big lineup of people looking for them, but still, when you do find a clean one, there's a clean one by me, probably old Slant 6 car. It's all faded paint and everything. You know, it's probably some old Baba's car that she drove to church for the last 40 years and she shit the bed. So it was a car lot by me. They wanted $5 grand for it. And, you know, $5 grand in a car that it's definitely not perfect, and you're pulling the powertrain out and everything else, and in the end they're not worth much anyhow. It's a big chunk of change, because you're not going to get return on your investment. And same thing goes for Larks. Like, honestly, if you find a Lark in a field or anything like that, as cool as it may be for a drag car, they're pretty much worth their weight in scrap value, because by the time you fix one all up so she's spiffed up to go to the car show, it's probably worth about 10 grand. So it doesn't make much sense putting, you know, 25-30 grand into a car that's worth 10 when it's all said and done. But if you get one cheap enough and the body's decent and you're just trying to build a light little drag car, they fit the bill very well. Like, there's probably nothing better than them, to tell you the truth. They got a good chassis. The suspension works unreal in that thing. Like, I wouldn't change anything on it. Maybe a set of drag shocks, but yeah. So that's what we got going on here. I'm not a Chevy guy by any means, but I have had my arms elbow deep in them many times. There's nothing wrong with them. Actually, they're starting to grow on me a little more, because now you pop people's hood and it's all LS's. So the first generation small block Chev is becoming cool again. But alright, have a good one. Like I say, I hope everyone had a good time in the events, and I wish I was there. I watched every minute of it online. And yeah, till next time, have a good one, eh?